How much salt will dissolve in 50 milliliters of water? Is there a limit? Let's find out. Let's keep adding salt until no more dissolves. We've added 4 spoonfuls of salt. What do you observe? The water level is higher. There is undissolved salt on the bottom of the bottle. The undissolved salt tells us that the solution is saturated. It took 4 spoonfuls of salt to saturate 50 milliliters of water. What we really want to know is exactly how many grams of salt it takes to saturate the water. We don't want to count the undissolved salt in the bottle, so first we need to filter the solution. When we filter the solution, we wet the filter first. That way the filter won't absorb any of the water from the solution. Once we've filtered out the undissolved salt, we can find the mass of the dissolved salt in the saturated solution. First, we'll put the saturated solution on the left side of the balance. Next, we'll put 50 milliliters of water on the right side of the balance. Remember, the solution has 50 milliliters of water, so both cups have the same amount of water. The balance isn't level because there is salt in the solution on the left side of the balance. Now we need to add mass pieces to the water-only cup. When the balance is level, we know the mass of the salt because the mass pieces represent the same mass as the salt in the solution on the left side of the balance. It took 17 grams of salt to make the saturated solution. Does it take the same amount of all materials to saturate 50 milliliters of water? Let's find out. Do you want to review some of the vocabulary words before you continue? Click on a word to find out what it means. When you're ready to move on to the next activity, click Done. This is a balance. It is a measurement tool for finding the mass of objects. Citric acid is a white, crystalline solid acid found in citrus fruits. Dissolving is the process of a substance becoming incorporated uniformly into another. Epsom salts is a white, crystalline solid used for medical or healing purposes. This is a filter. It is a tool used to separate small particles and water. A gram is the basic unit of mass in the metric system. Mass is a quantity of matter. These are mass pieces. They are used to measure mass. There are 1 gram, 5 gram, 10 gram, and 20 gram pieces. A milliliter is a unit of liquid volume in the metric system. There are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. Saturated is when the solvent cannot dissolve any more solute. Solubility is the property substances have of dissolving in solvents, such as the solubility of salt in water. Undissolved is when a substance stays solid at the bottom of a solution. Let's make some new saturated solutions using Epsom salts, sugar, or citric acid. Let's start with citric acid. There are 50 milliliters of water in the bottle already. We'll keep adding citric acid until we've made a saturated solution. Click on the spoon to add citric acid to the bottle. The solution isn't saturated yet. Click on the spoon again. It looks like no more citric acid will dissolve in the water. The solution is saturated. What is the first step to find out how much citric acid it took to saturate 50 milliliters of water? Click on the tool needed to begin. Yes, let's filter the solution. Now we're ready to find the mass of the citric acid in the saturated solution. The balance has been zeroed. The solution is on the left side of the balance, and 50 milliliters of water is on the right side of the balance. Click on the mass pieces to find out how much citric acid dissolved in the saturated solution. Click on the mass pieces in the cup to remove mass. Click on the mass pieces outside the cup to add mass. Great job! The balance is level. The mass of the citric acid is 67 grams. Let's record how much citric acid it took to saturate 50 milliliters of water. 67 grams. This is a saturated solution of Epsom salts and 50 milliliters of water. The solution has been filtered to remove undissolved material. Click on the mass pieces to find out how much Epsom salts dissolved in the saturated solution. Great job! The balance is level. The mass of the Epsom salts is 40 grams. Let's record how much Epsom salts it took to saturate 50 milliliters of water. 40 grams. Here is a solution of 50 milliliters of water saturated with sugar. The solution has been filtered to remove undissolved material. Click on the mass pieces to find out how much sugar dissolved in the saturated solution. Great job! The balance is level. The mass of the sugar is 100 grams. Let's record how much sugar it took to saturate 50 milliliters of water. 100 grams. As you can see, each material has a different solubility. It takes a lot more sugar than citric acid or Epsom salts to make a saturated solution. This chart shows how much material is needed to saturate 50 milliliters of water. Which material is the most soluble in water? You've got it! Sugar is the most soluble of the materials listed. Remember, a solution is saturated when the solvent cannot dissolve any more solute. Solubility, or the amount of a solid that will dissolve in a given amount of water, is different for each material.